Now in this lecture we are going to do two things. First of all, I will show you step by step how this is all done in Remix, and I've already copied the code that we've written in the previous lecture into Remix. So we have our buy and sell limit order functions here in Remix, and there is also the buy order book logic here in Remix as well. And then I will head over to Truffle and I will show you exactly how you can test this inside Truffle with automated tests, which is really awesome if you continue developing on this contract, that you can make sure that no logic that you've written previously will break. Now for this I have selected that it's only running internally in memory with the JavaScript virtual machine, and I'm creating my exchange, and one thing that immediately pops up is it's running out of gas. So I will increase the gas limit here a little bit and I will recreate the contract, and it's running through. The current gas limit on the blockchain at the time of recording is around 6.5 million. They might gonna increase it even further, but it should be more than enough for this contract from our exchange. So if you run into gas limit problems, just increase the gas limit over here during the testing time. And I will also create my fixed supply token. I will copy this address. I will add the token to my, fixed to my exchange, which is fine. And then I will deposit a few of the tokens in my exchange. Let me copy the exchange address first. Let me approve that my exchange can spend to 1000 tokens in my name. And now let's deposit the tokens fixed 1000. So I have now 1000 tokens from my first account in the exchange. Now I can check the balance and it will tell me I have 1000 tokens here, which is fine. Now I will try to sell my tokens on the exchange, but I have no order book there. So I have to do the opposite. I have to first fund my exchange contract with some ether and then buy the tokens. First of all, let me switch the account here, so it would actually make sense that another person is coming along and he says he want to buy some tokens. The first thing that he has to do is he has to deposit ether, and I'm going to deposit 1 ether. I'm going to deposit 1 ether, and now I say I want to buy tokens. I want to buy fixed tokens for 2 million Wei, and I want to buy 20 of them. So I have 1 entry in my order book now, and now I will try and see what my order book is saying. There is 1 entry for 2 million Wei. Somebody want to buy 20 in total. Now let's see how we can test this inside Truffle. I have opened new test file that I have created earlier, and I will walk you now through this test file step by step. And I will also introduce to you the next assignment where you have to create the logic for the sell order book. In this case, you can use this test file and verify if you have written the order book correctly. Now I have added a new 0-free trading simple to the tests here. And inside we have a function before, which will be called before any of the other functions are called. And here I'm mainly depositing some ether in my exchange. I add the token instance to my exchange and I fund 2000 tokens in my exchange. So I deposit 2000 tokens so I can work with my exchange and buy and sell tokens. Now the first thing, it should be possible to add a limit buy order. And we do this by, I get the order book, the buy order book in this case for our fixed token. I make sure that my order book has two elements, the first array for the prices and the second array for the volume. And in my initial state, because it's the first test, the order book should actually be empty. There shouldn't be any buy offers in there. And then I'm going to buy fixed tokens for 1 Finny, and I'm gonna buy five pieces of them. Then I get a transaction result back, and I mainly make sure that the logs have the right length. So one new limit buy order should have been created. And I also make sure that the logs name, the actual event, was limit buy order created. Then I call the get buy order book from the fixed supply token, from the fixed token symbol named fixed. And I make sure that the order book length from the prices is 1 and from the volume is 1 as well. Then I have a second function which just tests if we can add 2 more of the buy token entries in our buy order book. One should be the last one, and one order should be in the middle. So we want to test if this is working as well. It's basically the same. I add 1 new order for 2 Finny with a volume of 5 and 1 with 1.4 Finny and also a volume of 5. And then I get the order book and I make sure the order book has now 3 entries. Obviously the tests could be more detailed, but for the sake of our tutorial and for the sake of our course, I think you know where this is going. You have now the ability to write automated tests. You have the ability to check events. You have the ability to work with the return values. And you should also be able to interact with the instances or get the instances of contracts via the deployed, and you know how to work with promises and you know what they are returning. You know how to work with constant functions and you know how to initiate transactions. Now for the next 2 functions, the next 2 tests, there is one test where it should be possible to add 2 limit sell orders, and I'm going to uncomment this test. So it will initially fail, and you have to make sure that this test will run through because the get sell order book obviously has to return the right values. In the last lecture after this, we will then work on the cancel order functions. And then in the next section, we are going to work on executing the actual functions. But for right now, your point is to start working on the sell order book. And to complete this, I will show you how the tests are running through at the moment. For me, I have opened test RPC from the other day. I will just close it and I will reopen it. We were talking about this before, how to start this. It's basically test RPC, and I will start the Truffle test. I can also tell Truffle to test only one single file, which can be beneficial if you have a lot of tests and you're just working on one test which is failing. You don't always have to run all of the tests. And we can have a look here. It's compiling and then it's migrating, deploying the contracts on the chain. And then it should start to run these functions here. So the first test runs through, second test runs through, and the third test is failing. It tells you which events were emitted during the test, which was failing, and you basically have to work on this function.